Ah, Chelsea winning and new signings imminent. It's good to be a football fan. Hey, what's going on, friends? How you all doing? Come on in, all of you. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you are all doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily, every ruddy day. Daily show here on Football Therapy where I see what's being said about the Blues, give you my opinion on it, but more importantly, ask for yours. Koundé, Jules Kounde looking imminent on a 5-year deal with potentially Zuma going the other way. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I do want to also talk about Armando Broja, the Academy superstar striker that shone in the win against Bournemouth. My last upload is a match review on that. Do go check it out. And also, do subscribe to this channel because we're nearly on 130,000 subscribers. So close, and you can be the difference. So thank you for considering to subscribe. Take a breath, and let me tell you, this video is brought to you by OneFootball. That's right, OneFootball is the only app you will ever need regarding football news and all things football, especially it being silly transfer season. You can keep up with all the news by simply following your teams on there. It will give you updates and the lineup, statistics and results of football matches. Click the link in the description to check out OneFootball now as we move into the video and talk about Jules Kounde. Allez le bleu! That's right, 22-year-old Sevilla defender Jules Kounde with a big buyout clause, looking likely to join Chelsea after he agreed a 5-year deal with Le Bleu, as in Chelsea Le Bleu. And he looks a player. Loads of teams wanted him, Tottenham certainly wanted him, but he turned them down. I'm going to reference an article from The Guardian, reference a Fabrizio Romano update, and then tell you a little bit of my opinion on Jules in terms of what he brings, I'll say statistically, because I did a little bit of a deep dive on FBref looking at his player traits. Let's crack on, have a look at this Guardian article and see what they're saying. Chelsea have opened talks with Sevilla over the signing of Jules Kounde, having made the French centre-back their top defensive target this summer. Kounde is considered one of the best central defenders in La Liga and was part of the France squad for the European Championship this summer, and also started for them in the right back position, demonstrating immense versatility from the young defender. Let's read on. The 22-year-old has a release clause of €80 million, bracket £68.4 million, and is open to a move to England, and he is keen to play in the Champions League next season. The two clubs have commenced negotiations, although Chelsea are not prepared to pay the release clause. Thomas Tuchel wants to improve his options at the back, and the manager who led the side to the Champions League glory last season believes Kounde is the right fit. Manchester United have also shown interest in the defender, but Chelsea have made the first move. Sevilla are in financial difficulties, potentially handing Chelsea an advantage during negotiations. Also, Manchester United have just signed Varane, who you imagine would be partnering Harry Maguire, and really, there is no need for Jules Kounde, especially in a back-two system over Old Trafford. The European champions want to back Tuchel in the transfer market and have already raised funds allowing two centre-backs to leave this summer, having sold Fikayo Tomori to Milan for 30 million and Mark Guehi to Crystal Palace that could reach up to 20 million. I mean, I thought Tomori was 25 million, but sure, add another 5 on, why not? However, Chelsea, who are close to signing former Fulham goalkeeper Marcus Bettinelli on a free transfer, I'm sure they mean Martin Bettinelli, will probably need to lose another central defender if Kounde arrives. Tuchel already has Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma, Rudiger, Christensen at his disposal, while Cesar Azpilicueta plays on the right of a back three. Rudiger and Christensen both have 1 year left on his deals, and it's understood that Tuchel could allow the former to leave if the right offer arrives. Zouma could also push to leave after falling down the pecking order, possibly as part of the Kounde deal. Yeah, it's weird, the Andreas Christensen rumours for him being sold. I still don't get it. He looks, at times, amazing for Chelsea. He looked like he stepped in for Thiago Silva flawlessly at times, especially in the Champions League final. A titanic performance from the young Dane. Obviously was incredible at the Euros as well, and he's very young, and he's an academy player. It doesn't sit well with me that we'd sell Andreas Christensen, but it's very peculiar that it could happen. And yes, Kurt Zouma to be included in the Jules Kounde deal, maybe. Let's read what Fabrizio Romano had to say in his latest tweet this morning. Chelsea are pushing for Kounde. Kurt Zouma could be included in the negotiation as Sevilla appreciate him. Talks ongoing. Emerson Palmieri is not an option as of now. Emerson Palmieri thrown in there for a reason, I don't know why. But yes, it does seem like you know, Kurt Zouma could go to Sevilla because they'll need a replacement, and they like Kurt Zouma. He's very different to Jules Kounde, so they'd be getting a very different player in place of him, and similarly with Chelsea. Kurt Zouma is tall, he's combative, he's strong, he wins loads of aerials, he gets loads of tackles and interceptions in. He's actually quite an old school defender, Kurt Zouma. Jules Kounde is a little bit of the opposite. I've been looking at where he sits in the percentiles for certain stats on FBref, and basically he's very good at all forms of passing and crossing. He's very good at all forms of progressive carries and dribbling. Really good in the final third in terms of the amounts of touches he has. Basically, he loves being on the ball and moving the ball well. And to be honest, that is exactly the kind of defender that Thomas Tuchel wants in this Chelsea system. He has been dispossessed quite a lot, and his tackles and interceptions and aerial duels aren't great. Yes, he's won a lot of aerial duels, and he's not very tall. But he's lost a lot as well. So a lot of people look at the amount he's done thinking, oh, he's this high in La Liga. But the truth is, he's gone in for a lot and lost a lot. So his percentage won isn't very high. I think it would be the lowest of Chelsea centre-backs, or about the same as Cesar Azpilicueta. But that's okay, because Azpilicueta's played well in that position, and maybe Jules Kounde will be playing in the Cesar Azpilicueta position. Plus, he's only 22 years old. He's a decade younger than Azpilicueta, and in many ways, he's similar, but he's probably more of a sort of ball-playing centre-back over Azpilicueta. No disrespect to Cesar, but he probably is, and as things stand, Azpilicueta is probably a better tackling and intercepting centre-back. Regardless, this is very much a Thomas Tuchel signing, a player that he likes in the back three. It's not a club signing, and it's a Tuchel signing. The club are backing Tuchel, and that's a huge positive for the manager who's just won Chelsea the Champions League. You want to keep him happy, and ultimately, Jules Kounde is a sort of Galactico signing. He's a really highly rated centre-back in Europe. You know, he's got an €80 million release clause, even though Chelsea won't look to pay that much. But he's got 3 years left on his deal, Jules Kounde. So he'll be, generally he'll cost a lot. He started a game for the world champions in the Euros. This is a seriously high-profile, very young player who has agreed terms with Chelsea. A 5-year deal to 2026. Very, very positive. I know a lot of people are upset, or some people are upset about him being similar in some ways to Gerhi, and then we're selling him for 20 million to Palace, and he's an academy player as well. I'm not going to get sentimental about academy players, although I am of that inclination at times. I'm looking at this in the most sort of pragmatic way of Kounde is a very good player, and he's a very good player that Thomas Tuchel wants, who just won Chelsea the European Cup, and that should really be enough for you at the moment. And I'm happy about it. And you should be too. This does look like it will get over the line, not like Hakimi. This is more of a serious story. And the way Fabrizio Romano's talking about it, it does feel like it's going to happen. So that's great. When we get the Here We Go, I'll react to it here on this channel. So make sure you are subscribed. Again, very close to 130k. And if you subscribe with the bell notifications icon turned on, you'll be the first to be notified when any of this news comes up, and you'll hear it straight from me. Hopefully I'm explaining it clearly and concisely to you, the viewer or perhaps listener. Maybe you listen to this in your car or while you're walking, whatever. Anyway, let's move on to the final part of the video and talk about Armando Broja. Right, the teenage academy sensation who starts for Albania's national team and of course enjoyed a relatively successful loan spell last season at Vitesse, played in our friendly against Bournemouth yesterday. A lot of people rate Broja very highly. He scored a bunch of goals for the development squad, went away to Vitesse and got into double figures for goals in 30 appearances, so that's 1 in 3, which is not an awful return by any means, but I don't think it was 30 starts, so his goals per minute is probably quite strong. He only came on in the second half for Chelsea against Bournemouth, but he looked like the best attacker on the pitch in terms of how he was turning on the ball, retaining possession, holding up play and winning the ball back. His closing down was immaculate, and of course he got himself a goal. A pretty complete cameo in terms of a complete centre forward performance. Now a lot of people are wondering, what do you do with Broja? And especially, if Tammy goes, Giroud's gone, we don't really have any recognised number 9s in the squad. Could he be used in Thomas Tuchel's first team squad next season, maybe as a third or who knows, second choice striker, depending on how things work out with the strikers? Or should he go on loan to like a really good championship club, play in English football and try and bag a load of goals like Mason Mount, like Tammy Abraham, like Reece James and Tomori, that all went on these championship loans that helped them develop their career into first teamers? That's the question that's being posed right now for Armando Broja, because selfishly, like many people, I'd like to see him in a Chelsea shirt more, doing bits, but at the same time, is that right for his development when he's only 19 still? I'm not so sure. We'll have to see. Let me know your thoughts on Broja down in the comments section below, as well as your thoughts on Jules Kounde. Very, very exciting time for Chelsea fans indeed, dear sweet friends. Alright, I'm going to leave it there. I may upload later depending on developments. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.